right, welcome everybody. My name is Jeff. I'm going to be joining Matt here on our webinar today to go over IDX Broker and our WordPress plugin. We've done one a couple of years ago. It looks like a lot of people have been using it, but we're going to kind of do an updated one showing you some of the newer designs that we have with our Impress for IDX Broker. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth between our IDX dashboard along with our WordPress backend. Matt's going to mainly be taking the helm on that portion of things, but we just kind of want to go over real quick about what we're looking to do, the benefits of WordPress versus other CMSs. WordPress is a popular solution that's out there. It's used, I would say, probably higher than 65% for our specific clients using IDX Broker. Very powerful tool. There are additional features available when you use our WordPress plugin as opposed to just a standard IDX Broker account, adding it into a different CMS that's out there. So a couple of different benefits as far as like just the way things are displayed, as far as widgets go, the ease of use of adding any pages, widgets directly to the back end for putting into the back end of the website as well, or to the front end of the website, I should say. Just a quick little overview. Inside the IDX Broker dashboard, we're going to jump over to finding our pages just so you can see where they're at. So if you come into Designs and then click on Website and Page Templates here. So Page Templates, these are going to be the individual pages that come automatically with the account by default. So you have like your address, advanced, basic search, email update, listing ID, and map search. Those are your common pages that come with all accounts, Lite or Platinum. Typically, when you have a site that is not on WordPress, you'll have to click on the link button over to the right. And that there is going to generate a URL that you'll copy and paste into that. Here shortly, we'll show you how these specific pages are going to be automatically pulled over into the WordPress dashboard, making it easier to basically do a drag and drop, or if you're using an editor, and how it's going to be done on the WordPress side of things. We also have a lot of tools available with our widgets. So not just pages, but the widgets where you can actually embed these into specific pages that you already have on your website. So if we go down just a little bit, you'll see the widget section. And then we have two different styles here. We got the new version and the legacy. Legacy is kind of still a pretty popular one to do just because it's got a little bit more control into the CSS, the styling, depending on what you're looking to do. But you can go into the new or the legacy. The widgets that we offer are quick search, lead sign up, lead login with Platinum. Then you're going to have like the showcase widgets, slideshows, and carousels. These widgets can be made based off of filtering out featured listings. These could be also listings that from a predefined search for any particular area, property type, property feature, property price range. Basically, what I like to say is if you can perform a search within the IDX Broker control panel, aka your MLS feed, you can create a widget for those as well. And so you can put them on specific landing pages, which is also very good with SEO for adding to existing websites that you have. So let's dive over into our WordPress backend. Matt's going to go over how to install a plugin, where to find our plugin, and then we'll kind of show you how we link IDX Broker Control Panel into the back end of that WordPress. Matt, you want to show them over?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Jeff. Again, this is Matt. I'm on our technical support team here. So if you do call in, you may get a chance to talk with me. I look forward to that. Two things, if you are following along, if you want to log into your account like Jeff was showing you here, but also we want to log into our WordPress site. Also, if you just want to watch, we're going to send a recording of this webinar. So feel free to just sit back, watch today, and you can go and follow the steps later. So I have my WordPress website here, and I've gone ahead and logged into the backend or the dashboard of WordPress. And the first thing you're going to want to do is download our plugin. That is going to give you a lot more functionality and ease in adding our tools to your website. What you're going to do to add that plugin is that in WordPress, there's a plugin section, and then you're going to go to add new. And what you can do then is just search for our plugin. The plugin is called Impress or iImpress or IDX Broker. And if you just search for any combination of that, you should find it here. This is the one you want. Nice IDX logo, so you know it's our plugin. And then you would go ahead and download it if you hadn't already. Well, I already have it added, so it's saying active, but yours may say install now. So that's where you would actually add the plugin. Once you've added the plugin to your WordPress site, you need to connect the IDX account to your WordPress account to the plugin. And you do that through something called an API key. To get the API key, you're actually going to go back into your IDX account, and then you're going to click on Home and Access Control. And you'll see this nice big green box that says Account API. If you click on that, it will copy it to your clipboard. You can also do this action here or right click. And then we're going to go back into our WordPress dashboard, and we're going to find that after we've installed the plugin, it'll show up in our dashboard. So there'll be an IDX logo. It'll say Impress. And we're going to go into the general settings in order to add our API key. And so you'll see here, there's a connect your IDX Broker account. This is where you enter the API key. I've already done that, but the first time you do it, it'll be blank. You'll just paste in your key, and then you'll click Refresh Plugin Options. A little side note here, if you ever are noticing that the plugin isn't pulling in the most recent data, you can always come back and click Refresh Plugin, and that's just going to manually pull in any updates that would have eventually gotten pulled in. But once we add the API key, now we're good to go. This is what actually connects your IDX account with your MLS specific feed to your WordPress account, so we can actually add things like listings, searches, all of the features that you want out of your IDX provider. First thing I would recommend, and Jeff, I know you've talked to a lot of clients about the power of our wrapper tool, is I just want to show everyone what a wrapper looks like, because this is really a cool thing. If we go and we look at one of our pages, I'm just going to pull up our advanced search page. And so you'll notice, here's my WordPress website, and I basically want these IDX pages to look just like my website. The wrapper is actually what styles the IDX pages that we host to look just like your website. And so let me show you what that looks like. Here is this page without a wrapper, or with a wrapper applied to it. Normally, this would be just a blank white page that's unstyled, but the wrapper is what makes this look like my website. So it's got the nice, color scheme, the header and footer of my site. If we didn't have a wrapper, this just would be a really blank page. The cool thing is we have a tool that automates the process and allows you to make a wrapper within WordPress. So it's just a couple clicks. So I'll show you that feature real quick. So in the plugin, you will actually go to Impress and then General Settings. And then right here, you'll see Create Your Global Website Wrapper. And all you have to do to create this is pretty cool, is just put in a title of the wrapper. So you would just call it something like wrapper or property search. And as soon as you click save, it's actually going to create that wrapper for you. So that would be the first step I would recommend you do. That way, all of your IDX pages will look just like your website. Cool. So after we've added a wrapper, now we'd want to start actually adding these pages to our website. And Jeff, what pages would you say are most commonly added to people's websites?
To start, you basically want to go with your core search pages. So to me, that's going to be like address search, advanced search, basic search, and probably a map search. It's going to be the core ones, because people will search by areas, search by advanced search filters, or just the core fields, which is what basic search provides. So you got your city, county, zip, beds, baths, and your just general price range that you want to add to there. So it's very simple to add these into your navigation menu, or if you put an image or text on the main website, you'll still be able to just hyperlink them in a sense over to the IDX Broker page that's on that subdomain displaying with that wrapper. Just wanted to touch base too, that the wrapper that Matt was talking about is all a dynamic one too. So anytime you make changes to your primary design, your main website, it will always automatically update the wrapper. It does take a little bit of time for it to happen, but it will apply any changes that are done to that wrapper.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So if I went on my website and changed the color from blue to red, I could have, with that dynamic wrapper, would automatically update my pages to look the same color. So the really cool feature of the dynamic wrapper. And you'll notice here, I've actually added some of the IDX pages in my menu. And so that's what we want to cover next, is just explaining how easy it is to add the IDX pages to your menu. In your WordPress account, you would actually, the cool thing about the plugin is it integrates into different elements of WordPress. And so a lot of this stuff like appearance and plugins, those are just innate features of WordPress. And the plugin just knows where to put our tools and settings. And that's also just another cool benefit of WordPress. And so to actually add our pages to a menu, you could go to appearance and then menus. And if you've added our plugin, there's actually, when you go to add menu items, IDX pages. So the plugin knows to add these items into this area. And so literally all you have to do is click IDX pages, and you may toggle this to view all so you can see all your pages. And then like Jeff said, you can add like the advanced search or address by simply clicking it and then adding to menu. And you'll see I've already added it on my menu, but I can easily then delete this. I can move these orders around, and it was just a couple clicks.
And you could also create a little holder up on top as well, and then have the drop-down menu. So you can do like property search, and then have a drop-down menu of your advanced search, basic search, map search. It gives you a lot of control. This is being done in the classic editor as well. There's a lot of people that like to do it in the customizer, where it's the actual builder from the themes, whether it be like Divi or Elementor, anything that's out there. Those are also going to work as well. When you go into the menu section and you want to add the pages, it's going to have the same type of setup where it's got pages up on top, but it's also going to pull in any IDX pages. One thing to keep in mind too, it's not going to be just the search pages. If it's going to be like a saved link, a predefined search, those are also pulled over, where you can take them to a landing page, controlling the long tail URL, putting in your own custom subheader with content as far as images or text, or you can actually embed YouTube videos. You can also control for SEO, you can add like different H1, H2 paragraph. You can choose whatever you want for whatever is going to benefit you with your target pages, your target client, your reach, wherever you want to go with that.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's pages in a nutshell. And then the other way that Jeff mentioned as far as integrating IDX tools into your site is through widgets. And think of widgets as just like a little block of code. I'm sure we've all seen like those weather apps or weather widgets on our phone or computer. And so essentially it's just a little block of code that then displays the expected outcome. And in our case, we want to show listings or a search tool. And that's what the plugin allows you to do, is add those widgets really easily to your site. I actually have one right on our homepage here. This right here, this search bar, is called an omnibar widget, and it's available to anyone using WordPress and our plugin. And the nice thing about that is that it's a simple search bar, but in there you could search for things like zip code, city, county, or you could also add additional custom fields like neighborhoods. Really, any of the MLS fields that are in your MLS could be added. I believe it's up to 10 additional fields can be added. So you can also customize the placeholder text too. Also, if we scroll down, you'll see this is called a carousel. This is also added through the plugin. And then this is called a showcase widget. And this is also added through the plugin. These are just different type of widgets that are all available to you on either a Lite or a Platinum account by using our plugin.
These two plugins that you're looking at, these can be whether it's your own listings, so your featured listings, or if it's an office account, it will be featured listings from anybody that's within the account, highlighting your specific office or your listings. You also see there where it's got like Miami ranch style homes. So this is going to be a predefined search widget for only Miami ranch style homes, and then taking that embed script and putting it in there. This is the same thing too with WordPress. You can do the drag and drops into the certain sections, whether it's in the classic editor or if it's in the builder style. You can still go in and add these individual widgets. You can customize these to be displaying up to 100 properties on like the showcase widget. Granted, that's a lot of scrolling, but you can control like how many wide are there, how many long there are. So the more you have wide, the smaller the image, the fewer you have. 3 and 4, in my opinion, is a very good looking size. That way, if it's on a smaller screen or whatever, it's still going to stack, but you can still see that primary image is going to be very good. These are also all mobile responsive. If you go down to a tablet, if you go down to a smartphone, It will adjust. It will stack. If you're on a big screen at home, if you're on a small screen, it's all going to apply based off of what you're using.
Yeah, and we can demo that real quick just with the responsiveness. So you can see as I'm moving my browser smaller, this is continuing to adjust until eventually it would go to a mobile device. It would then break and it would go to 1 image wide. So it's pretty nice that they're all responsive in that way. So now that we've kind of talked about the differences in the widgets and the customizability of them, let us actually show you where you can embed these into your site. The cool thing is whatever page you're building in WordPress, you can embed a widget into. So there's a ton of customizability and flexibility there. Back in WordPress, there's at least 3 or 4 ways that I know of that you can add widgets to your site. For example, if we are in a page that we've created, so we'll go to pages in our WordPress dashboard. Let's just go to this edit page here. And we're just getting a little loading screen here, and it should be up and running in just a second. Awesome. So like Jeff said, we're using the classic editor. You may have the Gutenberg editor or another builder you've added, so it may look slightly different. But the nice thing about the plugin is it does integrate into different areas. So in my example here, I have this plus sign, which is for adding a block. And our plugin actually knows to embed the widgets or add the widgets into this area. So if I type in Impress, you'll see all of my Impress widgets actually come up, and I can just click on which one I want to add, and it will add it right in. Yours may look a little different. Instead of a plus sign, you may have a button that says Add IDX Broker Shortcode. That would be another way you would add widgets. And then I'll show you a third way after this. But let's say I want to add a showcase to my site. I can just click on that, and you'll see that the widget placeholder comes up. And then I have some settings on the right sidebar here where I can actually say which type of listings to show. Like Jeff mentioned, featured listings would be your own active listings, but you could also show all the MLS listings, and you would power this widget by a predefined search. And so there's so much flexibility with what you can show here. If you've created that predefined search, that would be done in the IDX account, and it's called a saved link. And the nice thing about this is when you toggle this to saved link, all of the saved links you've created, the predefined searches, will show up here in this area. So the plugin, as soon as it's refreshed, will pull in all of these predefined searches. So it's super easy to then display what you want to on your website. So I'll go back here and just show you, for example, the carousel. And another way you can customize your site by adding widgets is by clicking on, it's called the customizer. You may see it at the top here where it says customize. But this is a great way that you can just easily add widgets onto like your home page or whatever page you're editing. And in my case, there's this carousel. And if I click this little edit icon, I can see the actual widget that I've added. I personally think this is the easiest way of adding widgets. And you could see that it's set to properties to display as featured. So it's showing my specific featured listings. But if I wanted to, I could change this to a saved link, and then I could pick a saved link down here. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to featured. And then, of course, if you do make any changes, you would just publish those. So that's essentially how you would add widgets to your site. It would be good just to cover the other types of widgets we haven't talked about. So we've got the search bar, the omni bar, the carousel. We've got a showcase, which is like a grid. And then we also have a couple other widgets. One is a lead sign-in widget. Our tools essentially allow you to capture leads. And when a lead has signed up, they can have a mini account where they can save their searches. So we have a widget that you can add that lets leads just basically sign up or sign back into their account. Jeff, any other widgets I'm missing that you think would be important to add?
Did you do map search widget?
Map search widget would be another great one. And that is a platinum only feature. But the nice thing about the map search widget is we do have a map search page. But if you want to embed a map just into like your home page, the map search would be a great way to do that. Oh, we didn't. That's another good one, Jeff. Featured agent would allow you to show the different agents in a rotating basis. So I actually have one down here in my footer. You'll see there's a photo of me. but you could have all the agents in your team kind of on a rotating carousel. That way, it's just another chance for you to promote your agents and help divvy out leads throughout your team.
Someone's asking if can you show how you brought it up on the left-hand bar again? So probably in the WordPress for the page.
Yeah, definitely. If everyone heard that, there's a question about adding the or editing widgets with the left-hand bar. In my WordPress site, I do have at the top a customize button. So I'm logged into my site in order to see this this taskbar at the top, but it's called customize. That's how I got to the left-hand bar. If you're in the back end of your WordPress site, let me get out of the screen here. There is an appearance section and then customize, and that is another way to get to it. And this will just bring up things about your site, like your site identity, how you can change your logo, your color scheme, adding in custom code. And then there's also a widget section, and that's where I've been adding in the widgets there. So those are kind of the basic features of integration with IDX. The nice thing about it is it just takes a lot of the action out of needing to go into your IDX account and doing a lot of your work where you're already designing the site, which is in WordPress. As you saw, like we didn't even need to go into our IDX account except to get the API key. There's still a lot of reasons to get into your IDX account, like managing your leads and doing a lot of other cool things. But as you saw, the power of WordPress is that you could really do everything from WordPress.
Yeah, that API, for people that are wanting to know or still trying to figure out what an API is, basically, in a nutshell, it's a way to communicate between two pieces of software where you don't have to do anything. We'll let the two pieces of software communicate with each other. Going in and adding additional pages, you can go create saved links. With Platinum, you can create custom search pages, depending on what you want to do. Going back to our main homepage, you'll see that Matt had the page for like Miami on a widget. He's also got the same thing on the navigation menu for linking to a saved search for Miami ranch style homes. This is going to be where you'll create this on the back end of IDX Broker on a saved link. And it's going to automatically pull it over for a results page that you can have for landing page. If you look at the URL, it's going to be set up on that custom domain, on the IDX Broker domain. You'll have a lot of control over the long tail URL. So Miami ranch style homes or houses. Try to think of those keywords of how somebody might go into Google in your area and perform a search for those. You can create a whole bunch of those literally like 1 minute on the back end of IDX Broker. Create that, save it. That API is going to automatically pull it over. You can then go in and start adding them into your website. The more of these you have, the better it is with SEO, actually, because it's going to be getting relevant content on there. It's updated content every hour as far as listings go, pulling that into there.
Yeah, and that's a good point. We didn't cover making the save links, but I will show that because I think it's important. The pages that we showed earlier, these are default pages. They're already created for you, and they're just our core functionality. And you find those in design, website, page templates. But if you want to make those saved search pages, which do act as landing pages, they're great for SEO, they would be in design, website, saved links. And then this is where you would actually create those landing pages. And then you could pull them over, like Jeff said, and add them to a menu item, or you can use them to power a widget. The benefit of using them as a landing page is definitely for SEO and for ease of use because you don't have to create another page, like the page is already created for you. And so you would just go into this area and click create link. You would pick a search page to use, and then you would just define your criteria like a city, price range, bedrooms, all of the criteria that you care about. And then when you save this, you'll get a link, and that would look like the Miami ranch style houses. And I think at this point, we can probably just go through some questions. So Jeff and I are just looking through these real quick, and we'll answer a couple out loud.
Can you just show how to create a save link, just a real basic save link in IDX Broker?
Yeah, and that's what I was just explaining here so you would go to design, website, and save links, and then you would click the create link button. And then you just go through and pick your search page to use for determining the criteria. I like the advanced search because it's going to have all the MLS fields. And then you would go through and pick your criteria. And the last step would be to give it a title. And like Jeff said, this is where you can define the URL structure. And so you can really optimize this for SEO. Miami ranch style homes or whatever, golf course homes, waterfront homes, things like that. And if you do have a question that doesn't get answered today, it may be outside the scope of this webinar, feel free to email us to our support email, which is help@idxbroker.com. We're definitely not trying to ignore any questions, but if it's an integration question that's kind of outside the scope of this webinar, well, we may not be answering it today. There is a question about creating save links from within the WordPress plugin. That's a great question. You can actually do it, but you're not going to get as much customizability. For example, when I was back here and I was picking a search page, I could actually pick, I'll show you, any of the predefined searches or search pages that we have. When you're in WordPress, you can make a save search, but it's going to be limited to the basic search feature. But I will show you how to do that because it is a nice way if you just want to make a really quick save link. So you would go back into the WordPress dashboard, and then you would go to, let's see, where is that again, Jeff? Impress, and then IDX pages, and add search is where you'd want to go. And then this just essentially lets you build like a really easy, quick, basic search, put in your SEO settings and save it. And then it will be usable in any of the WordPress widgets or pages that you want to add.
Somebody's asking about legacy widgets updates. Unfortunately, the widgets can't be updated. They got to be new ones got to be created.
Yeah. So like Jeff was mentioning, the legacy widgets, those are kind of your bread and butter widgets, like the showcase, the carousel. Just to clarify, the widgets that are in the account here, they are slightly different than what we've been displaying in WordPress. And that's because the plugin, the code for those widgets lives within WordPress. And so the look is actually a little bit more updated, a little bit more modern. But these legacy widgets, they will eventually be remodeled and redone. And that's why the new section is here. So eventually we'll just have one widget section. But right now, our development team is just building the new widgets out. And so there's only a couple options there. If you do have WordPress, I would recommend using the Impress widgets because they do have a little bit better user interface. And again, they're just easier to build because you're already in WordPress. Okay, we're just looking over a couple more here. At the bottom of your website, there is a section for communities. How did you do that? Let's look. Let me go back to my homepage here. Yeah, so this is like placeholder content where I've got, these are just different items in my footer. But the idea here is that you could make landing pages for different communities. And so what you could do is like create links in your footer that would link to places to save links that you've created, like the Miami Ranch style homes. So that's kind of what, this is just placeholder area where I could add a widget or I could add a save link.
Those are going to be, for his specific one down there, you got inside your dashboard, WordPress backend, you're going to see like footer 1, footer 2, footer 3. Those are those different types of sections that you'd have. So not really seeing too many more questions. We've got just a couple more minutes. We don't want to leave you guys all hanging here too much. And if there's not any more questions, we'll go ahead and get some stuff wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any more questions here relevant to the presentation today, but do want to just thank everybody for making the time. I know you're all busy selling homes, but we really appreciate you. Do want to give you a couple resources to go to. Like I mentioned, you can definitely email our support team, which is help@idxbroker.com. We also have a knowledge base, which you can access in your IDX account or go to the website, which is support.idxbroker.com. In the knowledge base, you're going to find instructions for using the plugin, using all the IDX Broker tools. There's a great getting started guide, which I'd recommend every new client, just get in and start just to get familiar with IDX. That's a great article to get familiar with. Also, give us a call anytime we're open. Our support team would love to just have a conversation and help make your site look how you want to.
Excellent. Not seeing any more questions, we're going to go ahead and close this one down here. Keep an eye out on our webinars page for any future webinars. We also do record all of these. They are posted on our YouTube channel. Great resource as far as getting everything going off of that. Thank you for joining. Have a great rest of your day.